Ed Sheeran just dropped a line that has the world buzzing. Sometimes the truth hurts more than betrayal. He said it days after Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban's shocking divorce, and fans are convinced he accidentally exposed the real reason their 19-year marriage ended. Ed isn't just a friend. He's been on tour with Keith, seen them together and shared personal moments. Could he be hinting that Keith discovered something painful about Nicole? Or was he revealing a heartbreak too deep for words? One thing's for sure, Ed's words have turned a quiet split into a mystery the world can't stop talking about. Picture this: Ed Sheeran, Nicole Kidman, and Keith Urban. Three names no one expected in the same headline. Yet, here we are. Ed, the soft-spoken singer-songwriter, just dropped a cryptic comment that has Hollywood whispering he accidentally exposed the truth behind Nicole and Keith's quiet split. For years, they were the perfect couple, the country star and the movie queen, red carpets and romantic ballads. But lately, something's been off. And now, Ed's little slip might be the final clue fans needed. This isn't just gossip. It's a bombshell wrapped in a friendship. So, hit that subscribe button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and stay tuned because this story is about to get messy. Let's go back to where it all started. The golden summer of 2006. Nicole Kidman, fresh off her Oscar win and finally free from the shadow of her past, meets Keith Urban, the charming country boy from Australia who just conquered Nashville. It was instant chemistry, two AIEs who found home in each other thousands of miles away from where they started. Their wedding in Sydney was pure magic. Candlelight, hymns and tears that felt straight out of a movie. But what made their story powerful wasn't the glitz. It was the struggle. Just months after the wedding, Keith checked himself into rehab for addiction. The world watched, ready for the fairy tale to fall apart. But Nicole didn't walk away. She stood by him quietly, fiercely, proving that her love wasn't just for the cameras. That moment reshaped their marriage. It became less about fame, more about survival. Over the years, they built what seemed like the perfect life. Two beautiful daughters, Sunday and Faith. Family trips where Nicole swapped designer gowns for jeans and boots. Red carpet appearances that always ended with hand-holding, kisses, and soft smiles, which made fans believe that true love still existed in Hollywood. Interviews painted them as opposites who somehow made it work. Nicole is elegant and reserved. Keith, raw and emotional. Together, they created balance, the kind of partnership people dream about but rarely see. By the time Nicole received her AFI Lifetime Achievement Award in 2024, their love story felt untouchable. Keith took the stage that night, voice shaking, eyes filled with pride. He said she was the calm in his chaos, the woman who saved his life when he was at his lowest. The crowd went silent. It was raw. It was real. It was everything fans loved about them. For years, that moment was the proof that love could survive fame, temptation, distance, and pain. It looked like Hollywood's ultimate happy ending, until it wasn't. Something shifted, and the silence that followed spoke louder than any tabloid ever could. September 2025. Out of nowhere, the headline drops. Nicole Kidman files for divorce. No press conference, no cryptic posts. Just a few quiet court documents that sent shockwaves through Hollywood. After nearly 2 decades of love, loyalty, and laughter, it was over. Fans scrolled through the details in disbelief. No public fights, no messy assets worn, no sign of bitterness. But then came the twist no one saw coming. The custody split. 83% to Nicole, 17% to Keith. And the part that stunned everyone? Keith didn't even contest it. No pushback, no lawyers battling it out. He just walked away. People close to the couple said that's what hurt the most, the silence. Because when a man like Keith Urban, known for fighting his demons and his dreams with the same passion, suddenly gives up without a word, you know something broke long before the papers did. Fans started replaying old interviews, old performances, trying to spot the cracks. The way he looked at her, the songs that suddenly hit different. The truth was buried somewhere between those lyrics. And that's when the Whisper Network came alive. Nashville insiders started whispering at first, then louder. There were rumors Nicole had grown close to someone while filming in London, someone she spent long hours with, someone who made Keith uncomfortable. Nothing confirmed, but everyone could feel the tension through the silence. Keith found out, and instead of exploding, instead of calling out betrayal, he chose to disappear behind closed doors. Friends say it wasn't weakness, it was dignity. He wanted peace, not headlines. But that quiet retreat spoke louder than any statement. In Hollywood, silence is never empty. It's a message. And Keith's silence said it all. And this is where Ed Sheeran steps into the story, completely unintentionally. Or maybe not. Because if there's one thing people know about Ed, it's that he doesn't do drama. He writes about it. He feels it. He turns pain into melody. And Keith Urban was one of the few people who truly understood that. Their friendship goes way back. Tours, co-writing sessions, nights filled with guitars, laughter, and stories about fame, family, and love. They weren't just colleagues. They were brothers in rhythm. Keith was there when Ed struggled with fame. Ed was there when Keith battled his demons. They trusted each other, the kind of bond that's rare in an industry built on competition. So, when Ed Sheeran opened his mouth in an interview just weeks after Nicole filed for divorce, no one expected anything more than a friendly comment. But what came out shook everything. The interviewer casually asked, "Have you spoken to Keith lately?" And Ed, with that soft, thoughtful tone he's known for, replied, "Yeah, he's been holding on to something painful for a long time. Sometimes the truth hurts more than betrayal." One line. That's all it took. The internet froze. Fans replayed the clip over and over, trying to decode it like a hidden message. What truth? What betrayal? But words hit harder than any lyric because they didn't sound rehearsed. They sounded real. Coming from Ed, a guy who guards his words carefully, it didn't feel like a slip. It felt like a confession for someone who couldn't speak for himself. Within hours, hashtags started trending. Keith Struth, Ed knows, Nicole and Keith. Paparazzi swarmed Ed's team for clarification. His publicist said it was taken out of context, but Ed never corrected it himself. No denial, no explanation, just silence. And that silence made people wonder, did he realize he just confirmed what Keith was too dignified to say out loud? Some fans believed Ed was defending his friend, subtly telling the world that Keith's pain ran deeper than the tabloids ever guessed. Others thought it was a pure coincidence, an innocent phrase blown out of proportion. But one thing was certain. After that interview, no one saw Keith and Nicole's breakup the same way again. Because if the truth hurts more than betrayal, then maybe this wasn't just a love story that fell apart. Maybe it was a secret finally catching up to them, and Ed Sheeran of all people just happened to be the one who let it slip. The moment Ed's words hit, social media went absolutely wild. Twitter X, TikTok, every platform lit up like a fuse. Hashtags started trending instantly. Ed knows the truth. Nicole Keith divorce. Keith's secret. Fans weren't just talking, they were investigating. Old interviews, award show clips, and even live performances got replayed frame by frame. Every glance, every lyric, every little interaction between Keith, Nicole, and Ed suddenly felt like evidence. Theories exploded everywhere. Some said Ed was quietly defending Keith, hinting at pain only a close friend would know. Others claimed he knew what Nicole did, that there was a secret the public had no clue about. And some fans went even further, insisting Ed must have witnessed something firsthand, some private moment Keith could never speak about. The internet basically turned into a crime scene with Ed's quote acting as the smoking gun. Fans argued, theorized, and debated like detectives, piecing together a scandal no one could confirm, and nobody could look away. Ed Sheeran is not the type to dive into someone else's personal drama. He's loyal, diplomatic, and famously private. The kind of guy who lets his music speak while keeping his friendships out of the tabloids. So, when he made that comment about Keith, it immediately set off alarms. Fans didn't see it as idle chatter. For someone as careful with his words as Ed to speak that emotionally, it screamed significance. And then there's the phrasing, truth versus betrayal. Those weren't casual choices. Each word carried weight, suggesting layers of meaning that fans immediately tried to unpack. Was Keith dealing with a secret Nicole had hidden for years? Was the truth more about the hidden cracks in a marriage that always looked perfect from the outside? Or was Ed referring to an emotional betrayal, the kind that doesn't leave physical evidence, but cuts just as deep? Whatever it was, the tone of Ed's words was deliberate. He sounded like a man protecting a friend, quietly, fiercely, and without needing to explain himself. The connection goes deeper than most people realize. Nicole had attended Ed's concerts. Their families had met, shared dinners, traveled together, and been a part of each other's lives over the years. They weren't strangers. Ed had watched Keith and Nicole navigate the highs of Hollywood, awards, tours, public adoration, and the private struggles that no cameras could capture. He had a front-row seat to their real lives beyond the red carpet smiles and curated social media posts. According to insiders, Ed was aware of tension in the marriage months before the public even knew something was wrong. He saw his friend hurting, saw the strain building, and perhaps during that interview, his empathy and concern slipped out as honesty. This wasn't a casual remark from a celebrity observing from afar. This was someone who had seen the couple up close, who had witnessed the quiet battles, the late-night arguments, and the unspoken heartbreak. Ed's words carried the weight of that perspective. They were a subtle defense, a warning, maybe even a confession, a reminder to the world that there's always more beneath the surface of a Hollywood marriage than fans ever see. And when he said, "Sometimes the truth hurts more than betrayal," it wasn't just commentary. It was a lived experience speaking through someone who cared enough to protect a friend, while letting the truth leak in a way only loyal people can. In a story full of silence, Ed's voice suddenly became one of the most telling pieces of evidence. After Ed's comment, Keith went completely quiet. No interviews, no social media posts, no statements, nothing. And in Hollywood, where every glance and every word is dissected, silence can be louder than headlines. Fans and insiders alike read into every pause, every gesture, searching for clues. To many, Keith's silence seemed like confirmation of what Ed hinted at. He didn't lash out. He didn't argue. He didn't file counterstatements or make public claims. Instead, he chose to step back, to disappear from the glare of the media, focusing on the things that truly mattered: his daughters, his music, and preserving his own peace. That deliberate absence, that refusal to engage in spectacle, spoke volumes. Sometimes the strongest statements are made without words at all. And Keith's silence became a message in itself, one of dignity, restraint, and perhaps unspoken sorrow. Then there's the question everyone is whispering. What did Ed really mean? Was he hinting that Nicole had already moved on emotionally before the divorce was even filed? Or was it something deeper? A truth Keith had discovered long before the public even caught a hint. Something that broke him quietly, privately. Maybe the truth Ed mentioned wasn't about betrayal at all. Maybe it was about love, loss, and knowing when to step back for the sake of peace. Some fans believe it was a subtle confirmation that Keith had been carrying a weight for years, while others think it was Ed's way of defending his friend without ever revealing the details. Whatever the reality, Ed's words, paired with Keith's silence, turned the story into something far more complex than a divorce headline. It became a portrait of love, loss, loyalty, and the quiet power of choosing peace over drama. Ed Sheeran may have said just one sentence, but that single line changed everything. Suddenly, the quiet divorce of Hollywood's most admired couple didn't feel so simple anymore. Was it an accidental reveal? Something he wasn't supposed to say? Or was it a compassionate nod to a friend carrying a weight the world didn't see? Whatever the intention, it reminded everyone that behind the red carpets, the award shows, and the perfect smiles, there's often heartbreak and pain the cameras never capture. The struggles, the sacrifices, the quiet moments of heartbreak. Those are the stories that never make the tabloids, yet they define the human side of fame. And now, the questions linger. Was Ed hinting that Nicole had moved on emotionally before the divorce was even filed? Or that Keith had been carrying a secret sorrow for years, unseen and unheard? Maybe the truth wasn't about betrayal at all, but about love, loss, and knowing when to step back for the sake of peace. That single sentence opened a window into a world most of us will never fully see. And paired with Keith's silence, it turned a private heartbreak into a public mystery. So, what do you think? Did Ed Sheeran truly expose the truth behind the split? Are we all reading too much into one carefully chosen phrase? Share your thoughts in the comments, because one thing is certain: this story isn't over. And in the world of Hollywood, the quietest moments often speak the loudest.